Often, when talking about things like the collective consciousness, I get the question, well, how could they really affect the collective consciousness? Because in most people's mind, once you get into the spiritual, people start thinking about, magical sprinkle of light that gets shot out over the world and rains down on people's head, and it affects in a magical way. But the mind, body, and spirit are, as I refer to it, the holy trinity of human health systems. They're all intertwined. So you can affect the collective consciousness just by affecting the human part of the spirit having the temporary human experience. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage Sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. Here we are, Collective Consciousness Part 2, as promised. And often when I talk to people about the concept of a collective consciousness, people often think that it's harder to, or would be harder to affect the collective consciousness as a whole, whether people believe in things kind of like what they call the simulation theory, where you could imagine us all living in a computer simulation, kind of like, if you know The Sims reality game, that would be something like it. The Matrix would be a good example, the Matrix movies. Some believe that we live in a simulation. Others believe that we are all collectively connected by what we call source energy, and that all of our spirits inside of us, our souls inside of us, are a little part of a bigger source energy. Either way, we as human beings are a lot easier to control than one would think. And all you really have to know about us as spirits having a temporary human experience is the human experience part and how human behavior works. And there are some really simple things to know about human behavior when it comes to affecting the collective consciousness that is what the conspiracy theory that they are using the collective consciousness to control us comes down to. The first thing is that we are just easy to control. We can know what the right or wrong thing is to do, and if we get in a group of enough people who are telling you that the wrong thing is the right thing, even if you don't doubt yourself, you won't speak up. Like, they have done experiments on this for years and years and years. And what we know about the average human being is that, unfortunately, we could know what the right thing is, and whether it be online or in person, we won't do the right thing, and we'll actually lie about what we think the right thing is if other people around us are saying that the wrong thing is the right thing. The other thing that you need to know about human behavior is how much we respect. And when I mean respect, I don't mean appreciate. I mean will. When I say respect, I mean we will defer to authority more often than not. This has been shown through a really famous experiment that we talk about in psychology a lot, where they had doctors give someone who didn't know a button to cause somebody else pain. And simply because the doctor was an authority figure, that person who didn't realize they were a part of this particular experiment was pressing the button, causing someone else excruciating pain because an authority figure told them to do so. So, if you take these two things together, the fact that we will obey authority and will do the wrong thing even when we know what the right thing is, just because enough other people are doing the wrong thing, we become really, really easy to affect and control. And so the next question often becomes, well, how are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Well, the obvious part of this conspiracy theory is that they're trying to make us sick so that we are just that much more easy to control, because the less healthy someone is, the more easy it is to, oh gosh, what was the word that I wrote down? Yeah. I've got a few notes here. Oh yes. Submissive was one of them. Dependent was another. So once you start putting these things together, it's really not hard to see why people would believe this. Because between the food and the media that is put out, none of it really shows any amount on a regular basis, any signs of anybody wanting anyone to be healthy, from glorifying fast food to fast fashion to sickly superstars. I mean, think about it for a second. If we know that the average human being in America considers a celebrity or superstar to be an authority, when really they shouldn't be, unless, you know, there are some actors in this world who were like actually doctors first, or things like, you know, like maybe I might take their word for it. But, you know, your average actor, your average musician shouldn't really be an authority in your life when it comes to your health and well-being. And yet that's exactly what they do, because they know that celebrity status has become an authority figure. It creates an authority figure. Why, in this day and age, we do this? I don't know. But we do. We consider celebrities authorities, and authorities on things they shouldn't be. But that celebrity gives them authority status as well. So, if you have these celebrities, and many of them all saying the same thing, as I just explained, we know someone will do the wrong thing when surrounded by enough people who are telling them that the wrong thing is the right thing to do, despite the fact that they know deep down that it's the wrong thing. They will do it anyway. Especially when told to do that thing, not just by many people, but by an authority figure. So then you have, as I was saying, we have like literally sickly superstars. Like, I don't remember the last celebrity that I saw that actually was about health and well-being. They promote fast food. They promote we even have celebrities in our prescription drug commercials on TV. What else? The cosmetic industry. Not to mention, as I just mentioned, the pharmaceutical industry. All of these things are being pushed on us by what we considered established authority, whether that be our news media anchors or the celebrities or the government. None of those people are actually pushing diet and exercise. And when I say diet, I don't mean dieting. I mean like having a healthy diet. Show me one that's actually, or sure, these days we'll have some celebrities that are like, oh yeah, healthy diet and exercise. But that brings mental health to the table. And as I stated in the beginning of this, mind, body, and spirit are all connected. So you can't just have one healthy and expect the others to be healthy. They all affect each other, and they all need to be healthy to have a healthy spirit having a temporary human experience. So your body has to be healthy. Your mind has to be healthy. So yeah, you can have a celebrity, sporting healthy diet and exercise, but are they mentally healthy? Most of them not so much. Although they might want you to think they are. Or you've got the ones that are quite literally glorifying mental illness and trying to convince everybody that mental distress is mental illness, therefore we all are mentally ill, which is not the case. And classifying mental distress as a mental illness is absurd. Like absolutely absurd. And yet it's happening more and more every day, where we are being convinced that normal human emotions are bad and unusual and abnormal when they are actually the normal human emotion experience. And so now we're glorifying mental illness. And if your mind's not healthy, your body's not going to be healthy. And if your body's not healthy, your mind's not going to be healthy. And if both of those things aren't healthy, or one or the other of those things are not healthy, your spirit isn't going to be healthy. You could even have great spiritual health, but have crappy physical and, well, it's hard. I was going to say great physical and mental health. It's hard to have bad mental health once you start building up good spiritual health, because spiritual health is built a lot on the back of good mental health. That said, you could even have good spiritual health for the most part and have crappy physical and mental health. They all have to be healthy for the whole human to really be happy, for the spirit having this temporary human experience to be happy and healthy. And if one is down, it affects the others. So if you're not healthy in one of those areas, mind, body, or spirit, then you're starting to take health away from the others. This is why it is so easy to control the collective consciousness. Because if you control enough of us, you can start pulling down the whole collective consciousness, because it seeps into every one of us, because we are one. We are all connected. We all impact each other. We are all an ecosystem energetically, no matter how you believe it is so, because there are many ideas and theories and belief systems as to why we are all one. But if there's one thing we agree on, it is that we are all one in the grand scheme of things. Whether you consider it source energy or a collective consciousness, co-creative consciousness, cosmic consciousness, we all impact each other every day, from just the vibrational energy that we put out to what we actually do physically with our time out in the world during the day, interacting with each other. So this conspiracy theory that says they are trying to control the collective consciousness through making us sickly and dependent isn't so far-fetched when you think about it. Like, fast food, there was an article that came out the other day that said something like 80% of, I think it was McDonald's, Pizza Hut, and Burger King, 80% of their food, in it, they found chemicals that were used to make rubber. So when you eat McDonald's, Burger King, or Pizza Hut, you are eating food that has chemicals in it that they use to make rubber. Even the organic industry has been tainted, because now in order to call something organic at the grocery store, it only has to have something like 5% actual organic ingredients in it. So, like, even natural flavors. Oh my gosh, this is the one I love to talk about the most. Like, they literally use beaver butthole excretions to make vanilla and raspberry flavoring that they call natural flavors. Like, I will quite literally not eat anything that says natural flavors on it. They use things like cotton and bamboo to make bread products fluffier. Like, does that sound healthy to you? Like, chemicals that they make rubber with, having cotton and bamboo in your bread, and beaver butthole excretions in your, I mean, that's not necessarily the worst worst one, I guess. It is technically natural. But they find loopholes and ways to lie to us all the time, or find loopholes and ways to twist things to make it sound one way, even though it's the other. All the time. And why would they do that? Why would they do that? If not for a reason. And I'm telling you, it's not just to make money. If they really wanted to make lots of money, they could make things plenty healthy and make plenty of money. The more sick we are, the easier we are to control. And we are what we consume, in not just body. We are what we consume physically, because the food we eat turns into the cells that make up our body. We are what we consume mentally, because we are, like, quite literally the 5 people or things we spend the most time doing. That's what we're made up of. So we are the 5 people we spend the most time with. We are also the 5 things we do the most with our time. So we are what we consume physically. We are what we consume mentally. Like, this comes down to television shows, music, you name it. Even the way we dress affects who we are and how we are. And so if they're putting toxic chemicals in and on our clothes, which our skin is the biggest organ our body has. So putting toxic chemicals on our clothes through our, like, laundry detergent and into our skin is going to affect our health. Having all sorts of crazy hormonal chemicals in the air, because it's in all sorts of different aerosol products, let alone other products that comes off of, quite literally, look it up, when it comes to the amount of estrogen that we absorb on a regular basis that affects our hormones. Like, not natural, not healthy. Disrupting your hormonal state of being, natural hormonal state of being with synthetic estrogens, like that's not healthy. And healthy, like, we can't actually quantify what is healthy. Though contrary to popular belief, and we can do so while making room for diversity. We can, like, actually put a pin in what is actually healthy and what's not. Though they don't want you to believe that. And why don't they want you to believe that? Why do they want you to think that, yeah, you being uncomfortable over here in pain is a state of being healthy? Like, dealing with this amount of discomfort, oh, that's perfectly healthy. Why wouldn't they want you to be optimally healthy? Like, as healthy as you can possibly be, and therefore as happy as you can possibly be. Why wouldn't they want that? I mean, it's not just money, I'm telling you. And that's really what it comes down to. And this doesn't just affect, you know, the country in which it's happening in. It affects the whole world. Because we are a collective consciousness. We are all one. We are all connected. And so if you do this in a few little places, it spreads and it spreads and it spreads. And then more and more people who are even trying to be optimally healthy are getting more and more sick. Why? It seems pretty obvious to me. Thank you guys for joining me for another video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. May the energies you serve you well. And ask yourself today, how am I, mind, body, and spirit, affecting the collective consciousness today? Because you are. And all the collective consciousness wants from you is to be happy and healthy. Because the collective consciousness understands that it's made up of all of its little pieces, and so it wants all of its little pieces to be as healthy and happy as any could be, because we are one. We are connected. We thrive together. And we can thrive together. One of the sayings that gets said a lot by someone that I listen to is a rising tide lifts all ships. We can all rise together. We don't have to, any one of us, thrive off of standing on anyone else's shoulders, stepping over and on anyone else's back. We can all walk side by side, hand in hand, rising together, thriving together. Which is why I always end these with, let's keep making our way through.